Hello, this is very new to me. I'm not really a YouTuber and I don't plan on being one, but I thought I would answer some of the 20 quarantine questions for costumers, in part because one of the results of the quarantine for me is that I'm stuck away from all of my costumes except my chemise, which you won't be seeing in this video because that's not a very decent thing to wear in public, internet public. So instead what I'm doing is knitting a sort of historical style wrist warmer mitt thing, and I put on this bobbin lace butterfly that my grandma made, and that's about the only costuming you will see in this video because I don't have any video editing capabilities aside from maybe chopping off the weird beginning when I was turning the camera on. So this is it. So the questions are: number 1, what was your first costume? There won't be any embarrassing photos for the reason stated. My first costume, historical costume, the first costume I made, was a sort of medieval dress made from very non-medieval fabric with very non-medieval methods by machine for a school costume party, when I decided that if I were to dress up, if I was being forced to dress up, I might just as well start working on my long time fascination for historical costumes, for historical clothes, and I made that. And I didn't have enough fabric, so I had to use 2 similar fabrics, and I still didn't have enough fabric anyway, so my skirts were much narrower than I wanted them to be, so it's very embarrassing. But it was a start, and you always have to start somewhere. Number 2, what is my favorite costume I've made, or what costume am I most proud of? I think my favorite costume, because I haven't made that many yet, I'm very slow and I don't see really a reason to make many costumes if I have any that still work. So my favorite is my Regency or Empire Napoleonic outfit. It's not perfect, but it's fun to wear, and it's a sort of recreation of one of my favorite paintings from the era, so I like it a lot. Anyway, despite the mistakes. But I think what I'm most proud of are the things I made for my sister. I made a corset for her, not just soft Regency stays, but really a corset with couture and boning and grommets and all that. And it was also a very big project time-wise. So that's one thing. I'm very proud that I managed to fit it on her and to make it the way she wanted it to be, and to make it in such a way that she really likes wearing it. And I'm also proud of finishing her Moravian Wallachian folk costume last year, at least most of it. I still owe her some socks to knit, and I still need to finish my own, but I really like the fact that I put a lot of research into that one. It isn't always freely available online, so I had to put into it a lot of hours of research, not just making. So that makes me very proud that I managed to finish it in the end when she needed it. I do need pushing and deadlines. Number 3 is, what costume do you dream of making? I think I have two such, at least. Uh, One of them is a 1780s dress for in the portrait of Anna Friederike Maria von Taube. I had notes here so that I don't forget anything. It's a portrait by Anton Graf, and nowadays it hangs in the Rundale Palace in Latvia. And it's a pretty blue silk fitted chemise dress. One of the colorful chemise dresses with fitted sleeves and gathered bodices and full skirts. And I really like the color of it, but it also means it's a matter of getting the fabric in the same color and enough of it, and it's a problem for me. And the other one I dream of making is also dependent on fabric, which I basically have no chance of getting, because it's a dress. It's the portrait of Amalia Auguste of Bavaria. I think that's where she was from. And it's a yellow dress from early 1820s. It's more in the style of 18 teens, I think. Still, because it looks like it's made from a cashmere shawl or something like it, with a bright, um, saturated, darkish yellow with you know, patterning, and really fun dress, very sunshiny and colorful. And again, that's not a fabric I will get very easily, even more so than the previous one. But I like both very much, and both seem like the sort of clothes that I would really enjoy wearing and would really suit me. What is a sewing task you love and the sewing task you hate? Number 4. Well, I actually, when sewing at least, I really like doing the hemming stitch or the felling stitch. So, for example, I really like hand sewing on bias tape, bias binding, more than sewing it on by machine. But at the same time, I also don't like all the finishing tasks in a costume or in a piece of clothing, because they always take longer than I think they will, and well, I'm not very good at time management, I guess. Number 5. Would you rather sew wool or silk? Well, this is wool, and I'm wearing nothing made of silk, I think, and that probably tells you something already. I really like sewing with wool because wool is very pliable, and it's it is. I'm I'm not sure how to describe it, because I'm looking the words in English. I'm not English or American or anything. Uh, Basically, wool is nice. Number 6. Would you rather go to a themed event or pick your own theme event? I think that depends on what kind of theme it is. I always go to Regency events or Napoleonic events in our country. Uh, so in a way that already is a theme, but on the other hand, I'm as I already said, I'm slow with my sewing, very slow. I don't feel the need to make new costumes all the time, so I don't like the themed events that require you to make new clothes to fit the theme. I don't actually enjoy dressing up as much as I enjoy the research and the sewing itself. So yeah, I just I just like going to events to have fun, and for me fun doesn't usually involve a lot of peer pressure and obeying rules about the event, that sort of thing. So that's actually connected to number 7. Would you rather attend a big ball or an intimate dinner? Because I'm an introvert, so I always enjoy more something smaller, picnics or teas. Usually, the events I go to, events where I can talk to people about my sewing rather than events where I would be, I don't know, you know, you get the idea. Number 8. Do you prefer to machine sew or hand sew? Actually, several years ago, I probably would have said hand sewing, because I still wasn't good friends with everything on my machine, I think, so I was still a little bit afraid of machines. And hand sewing gives you a lot of control, but I think these days I know better how to deal with the machines, with my machines, my one machine actually. Uh, Sorry, I'm trying to count stitches here. And so I think at the moment it's kind of half and half, because some things are better with hand sewing and some things, like, slow sewing, for me obviously machine makes this better. Machine makes sewing faster, so that helps me a lot. Yeah, so now I'm adding stitches. Number 9. Do you like wigs, hair pieces, or your own hair? Well, theoretically, I might enjoy hair pieces because I'm not a hairdresser. I have no idea what to do with my hair, which kind of shows here, I think. This is my usual hair. But also, I have to avoid uh, plastics, basically. I can't wear plastics, so if I were to wear hair pieces or wigs, they would have to be good quality hair pieces and wigs made from real hair, probably, and that would get pricey. So I make do with my own hair and don't bother much. And Regency is actually a pretty good era for that, so that I'm fine. Number 10. That's the fun one. Name 5 small businesses you love for costume things. That's the fun one, as I said, because I'm not American, I'm not British, I'm Czech. So for me, all those small businesses that everyone is raving about online usually would mean big shipping prices. So what I really like are local shops. I like Sartor, of course. That's the one you will probably know from the Czech Republic, because they make wonderful reproductions of historical brocades. But they also sell lots of other things. They sell everything for corsetry, they sell linens, they sell linen thread. Those are the things I bought from them. Then I like, as I said, local shops. So I really like the Cars shops in Brno, because they sell a nice range of basic fabrics, like various types of cottons, and they have some linens and nice viscose linings and things like that. And they also have a shop with that's geared towards other related crafts, like for shoemakers and so on. So they will also sell uh, leathers and things like that. I don't know right now. So that's a very good. Those are very good shops to go to if you need something that's basically a basic type of material, but that you don't usually get in fabric shops. They, for example, have cotton shirtings, which aren't always easy to find in basic fabric shops because those will nowadays usually sell lots of quilting cottons and not other kinds of cottons and so on. There's also Kaltsu in Brno, and those I like because they carry silk threads. Then there's the shoemaker we bought our folk costume shoes from. It's Hija in Kelch, which will not be any help to you at all, but I felt it was fair to mention these local sources. And then I also like screw patterns, but I haven't actually done any of their uh, historical patterns yet because they're in eras so far that I don't really do. So even though I would like to tie them one day, I have not had a good reason to yet. And then I really like the small local shop in the small town where I live because even though they definitely don't carry everything, the lady is really nice and she was always up for a chat about anything, and she's always ready to order something if she doesn't have it, and I'm always happy to wait because she's nice. Name 5 YouTubers. It's now number 11. I stopped saying the numbers. Name 5 YouTubers we should all check out. Heh. I can't name 5 YouTubers because I am not a YouTuber and I don't really follow costuming YouTubers. But I know 2 that you really should check out. One of them is Diane Desiel. She makes videos about modern drafting and methods, and she also has videos about grading, which should be helpful even if you're not really interested in modern clothing, I think. And she has really nice, clear, detailed videos, and she also, I think she has some PDFs to go with them and that sort of thing. And she's, I think, always happy to help people to make. She doesn't always answer questions, but she will sometimes, for example, make a video that someone asked about and so on. And one YouTuber I really follow these days is Kate on the Last Homely House channel. She's a lady in northern England who mostly makes quilts, and she makes other crafty things, other creative things, and she has 4 cats and she has chickens and bees, and she makes wonderful, friendly, calm, soothing, encouraging videos, so you should check her out. Number 12. Favorite color? It's the one you see here. It's blue. It's really difficult to knit while you're doing this. Number 13. Pearls or sparkles? Well, despite the beads here, I think I would prefer probably pearls. But mostly I just forget to wear jewelry. Really, I do forget. Literally do forget to wear jewelry. And literally, I mean in the in the real sense of the word. Number 14. What is a costume tip you've dreamt of taking? Well, I think I would like to visit all the museums with the big costume collections like V&A and the Metropolitan Museum if they have a costuming exhibition, I don't know. And also, I think I've dreamt of going to some of the nice historical places I've been to before in costume, just for the fun of it. So, for example, I think it would be fun to go to Rundale in Latvia in costume. Uh, did I mention I'm Czech? Maybe I didn't, I don't know. So yeah, there are lots of places around the Czech Republic where it would be fun to go in costume. Number 15, favorite cocktail. No, I don't drink cocktails. I drink white wine. Number 16, who is a costumer you would love to meet? Now there are some I would definitely love to meet. The number one is kind of divided between Les Momet from the Dreamstress and Screw Patterns, and the other one is Vanessa, who blogs on Sewing Empire, WordPress.com, I think that's the address. We obviously share this love for uh, Regency with her, and she lives closer to me than Leimomi does, so that might actually one day happen. And there are some I've already met in the Czech Republic, so that's great. I'll get to that actually. Number 17, plain or patterned? Well, I usually end up using plain because it's much easier to make separates and match them, and that's the approach I like the most. I like to approach my historical wardrobe much like my uh, modern one, to just make clothes, not to make a whole outfit head to toe, but to make clothes that I can wear over and over. So mostly I prefer plain, but I have a very, very big love for indigo resist printing, so that's patterned. It's quite traditional in Europe, especially in Central Europe, I think. There are maybe 6 surviving uh, workshops in Europe, and 2 of them are in the Czech Republic. Uh, Number 18. Use a pattern or make your own. I usually make my own. I look at scaled down patterns and draft patterns to match them. The cut, because the camera stopped recording. I draft my patterns most of the time because I think I really enjoy the element of. I've always enjoyed the element of turning something flat into something 3D, so I was already kind of making my own patterns, like when you make cubes in school and that sort of thing. So that carried on into my clothes patterning. And it's actually usually it's cheaper if you're able to do that. Number 19, what is your favorite era to wear and favorite to make? As I said, I make Regency, I go to Regency events, so I like the long Regency era the most. Not technically Regency in England, but I like 1795 to 1805 probably the most. Those are my favorite fashions. And number 20, what is one thing we don't know about you? That depends on what you do know about me. Because I'm not a YouTuber, so probably YouTube watchers, viewers won't know anything about me. But what I thought I might mention would be that I'm one of the moderators of the historical So monthly, and it's a thing that if you don't know about yet, I think you might want to check it out, because that might be just the thing you need. right now, well, I mean, there are no events to wear clothes for and to make clothes for, because this is a kind of online event. Well, this year it's less strict about the deadlines, but you can still follow them. You can still make the challenges in the month they were kind of made for. So yes, there are 12 challenges in the year, 12 themes you can use to be inspired or to get ideas. Uh, Sorry, it's late. And what is really nice this year is that there are themes like no buy, which is what this will be for. This is some yarn, old yarn I found in the stash, so I think this year actually the challenges could be very useful for the situation we're all in right now, because there are things like upcycling and using what you already have involved, and it could be fun even if you can't wear the things to events, because you can always make smaller accessories if you don't have the fabric for big costumes, that sort of thing. Whew. So that was, there's a lack of continuity, I realize right now. This is all very new to me, and I also noticed when I was watching the video I made earlier that my pronunciation gets worse as the video progresses, so this is fun. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, that's what I was saying, that I would get to something. Sorry about the pencil. I get nervous. Because one of the people I already did meet was one of the other moderators in Historical So Monthly, who is a curator in a smaller museum here in the Czech Republic, and she invited me to take a look at some of the costumes in their collection last year. Last year I actually got a chance to go there. I had been invited a lot earlier, so it was great. And I think that's the great thing about the costuming community, that you get a chance to meet people, interesting people and friendly people, and um, you know, people with the same interests you wouldn't otherwise get a chance to meet. So maybe I will make some new online costuming friends through this. Who knows? I hope this wasn't too boring, with no editing to speak of. Bye. Oh, I forgot. I thought if I figure out the editing, I might add a short video of one of our cats, because there can never be enough cats in the costuming community, right? Cats. You can't unfortunately smell the violets, so you just have to look at the cat.